Welcome back to Power Up modules on Microsoft Copilot Studio. In the last video, we talked a lot about the Copilot experiences that you would find in Microsoft 365, and we gave you a level set on what you can expect out of these various Copilot experiences designed to help you to get more done. Today, we're going to deep dive a little further, and we're going to actually talk about the actual value of an agent, say, for example, in this case, on a website, right? What makes an agent on a website different than maybe chatbot experiences you've seen in the past, or even search experiences that you've seen in the past? To get started with this answer, let's look at a typical website. This is Petco. Anybody that has a pet probably knows about this store. This is where our furry friends get fluffy toys and treats and even medical care and other things. So it's a well-rounded website, which has no affiliation with this program, but I thought it'd be a good one as an example. And I come in here and I want to get some fluffy toys. Okay, I hope everybody knows what they are, but they look like that. These fluffy toys that dogs just love. So I might go up here to search and I might type fluffy toys. Now, what's interesting about the way traditional keyword search works is it's searching to find words that match what you're saying. And it's quite rare to see AI infused search. Even though you do see it more these days than we used to, that kind of looks at what are you intending to do, right? Or what are you intending to buy? Because the goal of search experiences should be to help a customer find what they want fast. But here, and just to underscore why that's important, if your customers don't find what they want fast, they'll get distracted and browse away and end up not buying anything. So in order to increase your conversion rate on your website, you have to be able to surface what they need as quickly as possible. All right. So people will leverage filters like you see here on the left. But you know what? I'm searching through this and, maybe I don't know, the phone rings, something happens, and I stop searching. Now, actually, there's not that many results on this page. I have seen search results go into the thousands. In this case, we've only got 21, so that's not too bad. But imagine how much time it takes to browse through these things and get to exactly what you want. It assumes that all the factors that I need to buy my thing is in my head, and I can figure that out as I filter through this. Versus an AI-infused agent who is focused on intent. Now, I'm going to show you how you can even try this at home without having Microsoft Copilot Studio. You can go to the link aka.ms.copilotstudio-demo, and you'll see this experience here. And I'm going to zoom in nice and big here. And you'll notice that you can choose any website to play with this on. As long as it's a public-facing website, we don't get into anybody's websites that are authenticated, of course. These are public websites. And so I'm just going to paste that URL for Petco in here. Might as well stick with that. There is some tips on how to choose a good website. The key point here, and we'll get into this in other modules, is that the content on the website is AI ready, it's properly indexed in Bing, etc. We'll talk about that more soon. All right. So I'm going to just go ahead and say start chat. And all I have to do is accept the terms of conditions. Now, this is what we call maybe a very, very extremely light version of what you get when you create an agent in Copilot Studio, right? Because there's no controls around you asking questions and getting answers here. You ask a question, you get the answer that comes back from the index, and the AI summarizes that answer to give you results, all right? But when we use Copilot Studio, which we'll get to use today as well, you'll be able to add additional controls into the experience. So here we are. So now I'm going to look for a fluffy toy, okay? And I'm going to kind of because I'm in a chat experience, I know I can speak natural language. Okay. So I can say things like, I have a new puppy who isn't uh, looking so happy. Do you have any fluffy toys that might pick up his spirits? I'm actually speaking very natural language. So I just want you to know that natural language is not keyword search. I'm not here to type 2 words and get an answer. I'm here to have a conversation, right, with an intelligent, artificially intelligent agent. Okay. So now I'm going to send that message, and it lets me know it's received that message, and it immediately gives me, and I'll zoom out a little bit here so we can see more. It gives me a very short to the point answer, not 25 search results, but a very short and to the point appy. Puppy toys are a great way to provide mental stimulation and playtime for your new puppy. Look for toys designed specifically for puppies, as they are usually smaller and work better with their puppy teeth. Interactive treat toys and puzzle toys can also help keep your puppy engaged and busy. And these are links to the actual toys it's suggesting. Now, I want you to notice that I'm coming in here to find a puppy toy, but actually, they're giving me more information. Maybe I'm a new pet owner. I don't know puppies have different teeth than big dogs. I mean, some of us can assume that if we've ever been a parent, but there's many of us that wouldn't know that. So actually, it's picked up on my intent, and it's giving me exactly what I need plus a little bit more, right? So actually, this experience is much better. And when I click on these links, it will take me to those pages on the site where I actually get a whole checklist, some suggested treats and toys, even a bed, and a dedicated page to toys for puppies. So do you see that my experience is much faster? It's also more directed to what I want to do, and I get it by speaking English. So here's what I want to suggest, and I can speak any language, by the way. So because we've got the power of that large language model, which we'll call an LLM, which is trained by OpenAI already, it knows how to respond to multiple languages. Okay, so I could say, avez-vous des jouets pour des chiens? How do I spell chien? I don't remember. Des petits chiens. Okay, and then again, it's going to pick up that natural language. It's going to understand what I ask, even though I asked it in French. Okay. Now, this particular experience has changed a little bit in that normally when you ask a question in a language, it will respond in that language. But this demo, we have it locked down to English. But AI agents can most definitely respond in whatever language you're speaking, irrelevant of what language the content is written in, which is also a great thing. Okay. All right. So let's see. How would you make this experience in Copilot Studio? Well, actually, it's quite easy. You're going to go to the site we ended up our last module with, which was Try Copilot Studio, and then you'll sign up as I suggested in the last module. But I already have done that, so I'm just going to go to copilotstudio.microsoft.com, which is the place that it will automatically go when you have it set up in your domain. And so now I have this opening up, and we're going to make that exact same agent in Copilot Studio. And then I'll point out just a few things to keep in mind as you think about why this is even a step above that better experience that we got just by being able to ask questions in a natural language and get back very intent specific results. All right. So I'm just going to go to my homepage. Remember, I explained to you that when you make this, you should probably look at these agent templates and you should probably check out the learning resources, especially the quick start. But you can also just use this up here to create your own agent. You can just say, create an agent who helps people find products and services for pets. Okay. This is the embedded Copilot. We talked about that in the last module. Go back and rewatch that if you don't remember what I meant by embedded Copilot. It's a Copilot running right now to help me as the maker succeed in making my Copilot. All right. And it will actually query me for what I need and what I want to name it. It gives me a suggestion here, and I'll just zoom in a little bit more here. If you see right over here, it actually suggests that we call this a pet finder assistant. And so that sounds good. Okay. It may ask me additional questions like, what would you like it to avoid doing? So another thing you have, remember I said you had no controls in that demo environment. In this one, because this is your agent that you're building from Microsoft Copilot Studio, you have all the controls you need, right? So you can build on it, right? So you can actually specify, please focus on pet supplies, but do not offer books about pets, right? And we'll talk more about, let's suppose there's a bunch of books about pets on that site. What are some other things you can do to avoid those pages being used in the answer to the question, right? So I guess what I'm saying here is, as you notice it's asking me questions, I want you to think about the fact that these are controls. These are the way you manage how the dialogue flows. You don't have to leave it entirely up to the LLM to decide how to respond. You can put parameters around that. Okay. So here I could say, please be friendly, but concise, maybe. Maybe I'll just say be friendly, but professional. Okay. So you can put in styles, like how would you like the tone of this agent to sound, right? So these are all different kinds of controls. And for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and just create. But you can iterate in this Copilot Studio space and add many different things. Now, the last thing I'm going to do with this Copilot, this embedded Copilot, is I'm going to tell it that we're using petco.com. All right. So I'm just going to paste that URL, which I still had on my clipboard, right there, because that is the data source or the publicly accessible website that I would like all the answers to be grounded on. Okay. Now, I could have stopped at answering questions earlier, or I can go back and forth right now and do other things. But I'm going to be happy with how it summarizes it up. And I'm going to say create. Now, for those of you who are developers who might be wondering, what about the solution? You do have advanced options to associate this with a solution. For this demo, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to create it, which will put it in a default solution in the same environment with this agent. All right. So you'll notice it'll be built. While it's being built, I just want to underscore a very key point from this particular video. One, when you compare traditional chatbots and search engine experiences, you do not have the control you have here. Traditional chatbots have a tendency of irritating people because they only know scripted answers. Basically, they know 10 things that they support, and if you say something other than that, you're just going to get frustrated because it doesn't know what to do, right? And it's very hard for people to predict in a traditional chatbot without AI. It's difficult for them to predict every type of intent that could keep you from being frustrated. When it comes to search engines, however, the problem is the amount of results that come back. So the deeper and richer your web content is, the more likely they're going to have many search results to wander through. So that can slow down their ability to get to, again, the goal, help them convert from browsing to buying. You need to help them find what they need more quickly, which means you need to evaluate not just the words they're using, but the intent that they have. All right, so it looks like our agent has been built, and look how awesome this is. It has the description that we had. It even put some instructions in there. Based on the description we gave, the embedded Copilot came up with these instructions, and it added the knowledge. All right, so all of that has been done for us by default. All right, they were also given a test panel. So when it comes to these instructions, if you read something you don't like, you can just hit this edit button up here and you can change it. Okay, very often you don't have to get it right the first time. This is not a set it and forget it situation. You can come in, revise your agent after it's built with the embedded Copilot and do things that makers do. And it doesn't matter whether or not you did it using the embedded Copilot earlier. It doesn't matter whether or not you answered a question or chose not to. You can always do that later. Don't worry about it, okay? But you're welcome to delete anything in here, right? I'm happy with this thing, so I don't see any reason to change it. But it's just a text box. I can change it. I can delete something, add something as I wish, and then what'll happen is it'll give me the save button. All right. So let's just take this books thing out. Okay. And then we'll go up here and say save. And now those are the new instructions. It's forgotten what we did with the embedded Copilot, and now it's focused on what's in here now. Okay. Now, what's interesting is when people ask questions under the covers, that is truly a prompt. And we're going to get into prompt engineering later, but that prompt is supplemented by the instructions that we have here. So it is beneficial to provide instructions because they go with the questions that your end user asks. Okay, so let's ask about toys again. Do you have any toys for large dogs? Let's do large dogs who are in training. Okay, and so you see the natural language benefit is I can get to exactly what I'm trying to achieve. I don't just want a toy. I have large dogs. Maybe I'm training them to be service dogs, whatever. I can start to put that information in the chat, and now I send that off, and it will retrieve the answer. Okay, and it gives some suggestions. Again, we have several toys suitable for large dogs who are in training. The Pet Stage's Super Dogwood Chew Dog toy is a great option as it helps train dogs out of destructive chewing behaviors and is long lasting. Again, you see that it's helping me, like it's getting to the point of my experience. Like, why am I here? I'm here because I consider you an expert, you Petco. And we're going to use this Finder Assistant to be that expert, to represent the human expert. And then I can click on any of these links here to get to what it has recommended to me. So we will get into other types of controls and things you will do, but we have created that demo experience that we did together that Microsoft shared with us. We have recreated that in just minutes. We've also extended it in order to include special instructions. And in essence, we kind of made it better for the end user in minutes. Very, very easy. But I want us to continue talking about controls and what are some things we can do to even extend the experience further. We'll learn in these modules how to ground with additional data, not just websites. We will understand when we want to turn on the AI knowledge and when we won't. So these are all things you'll be able to look for and expect in the upcoming modules. For now, my call to action to you is to go ahead and create an agent for any site that you love, exactly like we did today. Limit yourself to 15 minutes of work and tell me what you discovered. I'll look forward to seeing that in the comments. Thank you so much, and I am so looking forward to our next deep dive on Microsoft Copilot Studio.